I'm going to call the Monday, April 11th, 2022 special session of council to order at 6:31 PM. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Cray,
Present.
Ms. Gersh, Ms. Traore, Mr. Dunman,
Here.
Mr. Moran.
Here. Okay, I was informed, I spoke with Ms. Traore here probably about an hour ago. She is en route. It's my understanding she will be joining us at some point this evening. I am going to, the agenda is set, and by ordinance, the items that are on the agenda have to be followed by Ohio Revised Code. However, we do not necessarily have to follow the ordinance, the order of the agenda. So I'm going to ask council to conduct the business that I placed on this agenda. And there are two items. Those items are ordinance 2022-30 and the purchases and approvals. So council has before them ordinance 2022-30, which is presented for suspension of rules and adoption. Chief Majoy has requested the addition of a position in the police department, which is a part-time photo enforcement officer. That is the only change to the police staffing ordinance. Any questions about that? Okay. Council has before them ordinance 2022-30 presented for suspension of rules. Clerk, will you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance consolidating the pay, remuneration, and benefits provisions for all police department personnel and amending or repealing as applicable all ordinances or provisions therein that are inconsistent with the pay, remuneration, and benefit schedules adopted hereby and declaring an emergency.
Please call the roll for suspension of rules.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes. Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes. Ordinance 2000. I'm sorry, Ms. Traore, ordinance 2022-30 or motion, roll call to adopt. It's the addition of a photo, it's the addition of a photo enforcement, part-time photo enforcement officer.
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-30 is adopted. A motion for the approval of the purchase of a Skag mower from North Royalton Power Equipment at state bid pricing not to exceed $14,100.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to, for the approval of the purchase of one Skag mower from North Royalton Power Equipment at state bid price not to exceed $14,100.
Second. Moved and seconded, please call the roll.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Ms. Traore,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes. Thank you. Motion approved. Okay, I have a statement about tonight's meeting. I know that there is a fair amount of speculation that often occurs via social media regarding tonight's agenda, the impetus, the purpose, how it came about, who scheduled it, who requested it, who orchestrated it, all of those things. Let me be very clear. I did not ask for tonight's meeting. I have conversations with every single one of my council members on an ongoing, regular basis, including Ms. Traore. I know almost all the faces in this room. And for those that you do not know, I do not get involved in who the council pro tempore is. I never have as mayor. I've never been involved with it. In fact, we've had ties and I've refused to break that tie because it's a council decision and it is for council to decide who they choose to be their de facto leader. There are reasons, I believe, This meeting has been called. I have had conversations with the council members about this meeting as to form and legal process. The content is for council to discuss. So the speculation that you may have heard that I was involved in some way in calling this meeting, orchestrating it, or have a desire of its outcome is blatantly false. With that, Mr. Dunman and the rest of council, the members of council that called this meeting, would you like to proceed to executive session, or do you want to conduct the rest of business first?
I do. So for those who don't know, I'm Councilwoman Gigi Traore. In June 2018, 3 of the other 4 council members appointed me, making a historic moment for the village of Newburgh Heights. I became the first person of African descent after 114 years of the establishment of Newburgh Heights to serve in this role. January of 2021, as well as January 2022, I was elected by my council colleagues to serve as pro tempore for the village of Newburgh Heights, which I have done to the fullest of my capacity. And once all the things came to transpire with Mayor Elkins, separate from his role here as mayor, his personal issues, as we all are aware of, it came up that, he will resign at some point. And to hear that there is a potential or an interest in removing me from the position of pro tempore, it's hurtful. We are, as I would like to say, a progressive community. We've been under a progressive mayor. We have passed progressive legislation from our student loan assistance program, 6 months parental leave. The list goes on and on. And the weight of being an African Black woman dealing in this space, passing legislation such as the Crown Act, removing discriminatory words such as alien in relation to immigrants. I'm the daughter of an immigrant. So doing those types of things, and now to be on the impetus of potentially filling the rest of the role of mayor, it's hurtful. I've opened conversations regarding the incident that was put before me, and I noted I would not be available on this particular day because today's my son's birthday. And thank you for all of you who have told my son happy birthday. And so I was there with him. As my colleague knows, my son is in welding, just like him. He works in Bellefontaine, Ohio. And I drove back like a crazy woman because this was important to me. It hurt my son's feelings because I don't get enough time to spend with them. For those who know my story, Senator Nina Turner, we go way back. I was a single mom, raised my babies, earned 2 degrees, put 1 through college, and now she's serving in US Navy, and my son is in Bellefontaine working. And I fight for residents. We've done a lot in this community, and it was my expectation that the respect that my colleagues had shown me from 2021 and 2022 to not put me there once, but twice as pro tem will continue. And it's hurtful. And I know people have told me, keep your poise, but it's hurtful. It is hurtful. I answered the question and the issue has been resolved. There is nothing there. I live at 3998 East 54th Street, Newburgh Heights, Ohio, where I will live until I decide not to live. There are landlords and property management companies that do wrong by tenants. And I was not exempt from that. I was not. I lived 6 months, and the mayor knows, I sent him photos. 6 months with a hole in my bathroom ceiling, water from the snow and rain coming in, cold air. 6 months, when we had the bad weather storm, tree fell down, stuck in my house because the garage was blocked. And one of my good neighbor, who's amazing, Camille, she knows, we was stuck in the house for how many days, Mayor?
The weekend.
Exactly. Exactly. They putting in things, not getting inspections done. So yes, I am holding them accountable because that's why I'm here. I'm an advocate for my tenants. I'm an advocate for myself. So when you do wrong, no, you will not get it over on me. And so yes, we went to court and I won. And I live at 3998, the only one on the other side of the bridge, because that's where the Black people live. And so not to give me the space and the grace to show you, as I had already said, that the matter was being handled by my attorneys and we have an agreement because they know they were wrong. And our housing and building commissioner, who is amazing, I must say, thanks to the mayor for bringing in such talent to really create a housing and building department that holds folks accountable. And I won't point out people, but there's a resident that had 3 years of mold in their house. 3 years. Their babies were there, their relatives, and nobody did anything. But it got resolved when our commissioner came in. And that's thanks to the mayor for hiring this amazing commissioner. And I have continued to push those things. And yes, happenstance, September of 2021, I introduced what is called the tenant's right to pay to stay. Who knows about that legislation? Raise your hand if you've heard of that. And what that does, and the thing that I love about Newburgh, we didn't just say, oh, just during COVID, because we know that Black and brown folks, our elderlies, our seniors, those who may not have access to income are impacted economically every day, whether there is a world health crisis or not. And so what we did was that we made it throughout its law. So that protection is there. And the claim that I introduced the legislation because I had the foresight to know that in December, I was going to go to battle with a landlord is false. I thank God for that, but I'm also privileged, and I understand my privilege as someone who holds not 1, but 2 degrees. Senator Turner knows. I understand my privilege that I am not faced with that situation. The situation was a battle, and it's going to continue to be a battle because we all know as council, our solicitor, our mayor, we all know the issues that we're dealing with here with bad landlords and property owners. Property management companies are a part of that. And so it is my hope, and I do have a message from a resident who wanted to be here and could not be here, but she wanted me to read this because when I go and knock on doors and I talk to residents, and when I go up to the school and they see my Black face, they see my natural coily hair, they get excited because they like, oh, you do this? I'm like, yes, it's not easy, but yes, I do this. And so she wanted me to read this. It says, good evening. My name is Natasha Williams, and I am a new resident of Newburgh Heights, residing at 4412 Alpha Avenue, Upper. I have found Councilwoman Traore to be extremely helpful and resourceful when I reached out to her and very prompt in her response to my request for assistance and information. It is my desire to express my support in regards to remaining in her current pro tem position. She is a true asset to our community. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Natasha Williams. And I have countless times where I've helped folks. It's not because of this role. I've been this way. I come from the community. And the result of you all being here is because I'm from the community. There is no nepotism here Folks know that I've been organizing since I was actually way before I was an undergrad student at Cleveland State University. I've been fighting for social injustices, and I'd be damned if anybody come up against me and I don't fight back. It's hurtful. And I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes, because I get asked this, oh, where are you from? Are you really from Cleveland? Are you from America? And I want to say, I am America. I am the part you won't recognize, but get used to me. My name, my own. Get used to me, and I'm here.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we retire to executive session.
There's gonna be some meat on that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read the agenda to make that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we retire to executive session for the discussion of personnel issues to consider appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, pending potential litigation and property acquisitions if necessary.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Ms. Traore,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
So the public's aware, council is going to retire to the executive session chamber, deliberate, and then they'll be returning in.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we return to regular session.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Ms. Traore,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes. Okay, special session of council resumed at 7:43 PM. Council on the agenda for business, the business portion of the agenda. Mr. Dunn.
Mayor, make that we table issue number 5.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Ms. Traore,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
I would like to make a statement, please. Council has discussed the issues before us and clarified misinformation and rumors brought forth. We would like to say that take this opportunity. We would like to say that this opportunity has given us the resolve to communicate more effectively and thoroughly as we navigate the future. This council supports Gigi Traore in her position of council president pro tempore. Thank you.
In January, my council colleagues elected me to my second year as pro tempore. And I posted out, I said, I'm looking forward to a more progressive agenda. I'm looking forward to being in leadership, and I'm looking forward to working with a great council. And I still stand by those words. In my pro tem report at the end of last year, I called them my trouble buddies. And we definitely get in trouble, especially that one down there. We get in a lot of trouble together. And many of you are elected officials out there, your community leaders from Black Lives Matter to union brothers and sisters, your state, your county, your local elected officials. And so this work is hard. But what we do from our senior most councilwoman here with the institutional knowledge to our freshmen, still the freshmen, councilman, we work together. And to you as my community. Words can't express how I so appreciate each of you showing up. But I also appreciate my council colleagues for showing up, for having the tough conversations. And as we transition to a new time, to make history yet again. Newburgh is known to be first for a lot of things. And so we appreciate the foundation that Mayor Elkins has laid over his 10+ years of leadership and service, innovation, all those things. And we look forward to building on that. And we look forward to doing more. But let it be known that we are united. And as I lead as pro tem, and when the time comes as mayor, we will be together and we will not play games. And so we will continue to serve. We will continue to do all the great things that we're doing as a council. I'm going to lean on you, Councilwoman Cray, for your institutional knowledge. And Linda, I'm going to lean on you for all your decorative and event planning and all those kind of things. That I'm looking forward to it. It's heavy. And I do want to say, as I said in my letter of support for Mayor Elkins, this is separate. And so we wish him well. Again, we thank you for all the things, and council, we got work to do. Thank you to everybody who came out, and I thank you that we have a resolve. If nothing else, Mr. Mayor, turn it over to you.
Thank you, council, for doing the hard work of government, because it is hard at times. And with that, which could be for the media, my last meeting, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Cray,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh,
Yes.
Ms. Traore,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned 7:48 p.m.